Welcome to Who's Your Mama, a podcast focusing on tomorrow's future, which are our kids, educators, teachers, parents, all encompassing with the goal of understanding that our brain is a muscle that we can exercise to control the speed in the direction that we want. Let's go, y'all. The time is now. So Marcus of the Venice Electric Light Parade, welcome to Who's Your Mama?
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Well, we were happy to have you, and so much we could share, but I'll try to be succinct because many people know you, and there are certain areas that I really want to focus on of why what you're doing with the Venice and have been doing with the Venice Electric Light Parade. Say that 5 times. Try it at home.
It's a tongue twister. I even still mess it up sometimes.
At the Venice Electric Light Parade. Right. And one of the areas that we share between the two of us is our sense of community.
Right.
And making a difference, thinking outside of ourselves. Mm-hmm. So if you could just give a quick, for people that maybe aren't familiar with the Venice Electric Light Parade, what inspired you to start it and what keeps you doing it?
Yes. So I created the Venice Electric Light Parade in 2015.
Happy 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So the inspiration came from when I moved here from Kansas City in 2014. I moved with the then girlfriend who was a makeup artist. She wanted to come to LA, back home. I owned a 5-van carpet cleaning business, and I had a couple of tow trucks. So I had businesses that were fully functioning, right? Very successful. And she was a little bit younger and she wanted to move to LA. So I ended up selling everything, moving out here with her.
That doesn't sound like very LA.
Yeah. I mean, everybody does it. Yeah, it's like rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But anyways, did that. Came out here with her. 6 months of being out here, she realized that she didn't want to be here. So she went back home. So that left me in LA by myself, just kind of floating around to all the different neighborhoods. Because rent was so expensive and, everything, nothing really resonated with me but Venice Beach. And because Venice was, there was so much going on in Venice and it was free. All you needed to do was find a place to park and you could just hang out at the beach. Ended up hanging out at the beach. They always said that you want to not be at the beach during the day, whatever. Right. Left the beach. I would leave the beach. Then sunset, it was one sunset. I said, I need to see what happens here at night. And that's when I noticed that everybody who's a local, they all had bicycle wheel lights and they would flip these lights on. And so now you just got all these bicycles just crisscrossing one another with these colorful lights. It was magic.
And that's the magic that sparked that within you to see the vision.
Well, what happened is I ended up buying a bike the next day.
Wow.
And I asked one of the locals, hey, where do you get these lights from? Just like everybody asked. They said, oh, it's a guy that comes to the beach. His name is Sebastian the Lightman. He doesn't have a shop. He just sets up and he vends. I said, oh, okay. So it took me about 2 weeks. I finally met him, told him the story, where I was from and what happened. Him and I ended up becoming really good friends. And then he took me on as like his apprentice. And so I would just hang out and help him do bicycle lights. And what I saw was, even though everybody had these bicycle wheel lights, there still wasn't a sense of community because everybody did their own thing. Yeah. They would get the wheel lights and then they would go this direction and then go that direction.
Isn't that just a metaphor for life?
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. Everybody's, they were all, on their own path. And so what happened is I saw that as an opportunity to add more lights to my bike. And I would just ride around, playing music, people would follow. And from that gave me the inspiration to create the Electric Light Parade.
So that's an incredible journey. And I think so many people can relate that to different parts of their life, of the journey, the different path.
Yeah.
Less ridden, traveled, so to speak. So then take us into now, to be able to sustain any business or commitment and things in life, a decade is a very, very long time. And to be able to do that, because that also included the period of time of a proper shutdown of the pandemic.
Right.
So, let's discuss further about what continued to motivate you to do that, because I've watched it grow and grow and grow, and your commitment to do every Sunday at sunset.
Yeah.
And then specifically during that period of time, why, and then what did you get and you've seen people get out of it that motivates you to keep this continuous commitment?
Right. So, what keeps me going is the people. I mean, the DMs that I get, the thank yous, the stories of during the pandemic, how people were ready to pretty much end it because they didn't know what was going on. There was probably about a dozen people that I actually had to go and just do a little personal bicycle ride with them in their neighborhood. But yeah. It was very heartwarming just because they weren't doing well.
Yeah.
Okay. And so during the pandemic, what I did was to keep people engaged and to let them know that, hey, we're still Sundays at sunset. We're still, even though we're not riding bicycles, we're still going to do something. And so I started doing bicycle bedtime stories. So if you remember during the pandemic, that's when Amazon really, really, really took off. And I ordered about 30 bicycle, children's books that involved bicycles. And so what I would do at sunset on a Sunday, because, the beaches were closed and we weren't riding, I would just go live on Facebook and I would read a children's book. And I called it Bicycle Bedtime Stories. So that actually helped a lot of people, I think the most one time I had like 600 people logged on, watching me read a story. So
the power of connection.
Definitely. And so like now it's so integrity, intention, all of those are keywords and things that I've incorporated in myself to make sure that I show up every Sunday, because what fuels me is seeing how many people show up. Like last Sunday, it was like almost 200 people. And so, and people come in from all over, it was a couple there from Vegas last week that just drove in to do the bicycle parade.
And you've had people that have heard about you through things like, correct me if I'm wrong, TripAdvisor,
all of that.
Things to do. So when you're in LA,
yes.
And all that being said, knowing and watching you do all this, you don't do it for the notoriety, like the investment of making a difference, which gives to you and gives to others. And so I know it's been around, you're being very modest, but it has been people around the world. You are.
So one of the things that I'm proud of is that the bicycle parade is on all the Norditrack workout equipment. So if Norditrack has a program called iFit, and that's an interactive type of software to where you can punch in and you can say, hey, I want to go jogging at some volcanic mountain in Hawaii, and it'll take you there, and the machine will actually increase if you're on a treadmill, or if you're on a stationary bike, the resistance will get harder if the program senses that you're going up a mountain, up a hill, it'll get harder. So what happened was those guys called, and I think they're out of Utah. They came down and they said, hey, apparently your bicycle parade is something that people are requesting to put on our, within our software. And, what does it take for us to send the film crew down? Because we want to feature the Venice Electric Light Parade on our workout equipment. So here's the thing with that program, it's interactive. So if you're on your stationary bike in Thailand and you're doing my event and on the program, you can send me you can DM me real time for more information. And so I get people that DM me from that platform that says, hey, we do your bike parade on our equipment at home. We're going to be in LA and we want to do it real time. So,
and I think that's what you know, and this is a bigger conversation, not for now, and maybe not at all between you and us, but we both have discussed about technology and AI and things like that, and fears of those things. But there are huge ways to use technology, just like social media, in a mindful, integrity-based, intentional way.
Right.
So this is an example of it, of how to connect people for something like that, and you're reaching people sometimes without you even realizing you are.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, what would you say has been some of the biggest changes? Because I know you've been very mindful and make it clear to people that come on the ride, do whatever you want to do afterwards. Understand that you don't have to have kids or have a family to partake in the ride. But what you're not going to partake is in extracurriculars, being like alcohol, things like that.
Yeah.
It is a kid and family friendly, whether you have it or not, but here's an absolute no.
Right.
So with all that being said, what would you say you have seen how that's impacted families, restaurants, and also from a brain health is life health standpoint? How have you seen that change over the years?
So I've always been pretty, and I've kind of gotten kind of a little rigid name in the biking community, if you will, about us being pretty stern on the no drinking, no smoking, sober family event. Because in the very beginning, that's what helped me and the crew get around certain having to pull permits, LAPD,
because they knew you were safe and they didn't have to monitor.
And they knew that we were sober, kid friendly, you know. And in the very beginning, they had a problem with us holding up lights and everything. And so there's no law of the land that trumps a kid on a bicycle. So once that was implemented, and of course the no drinking, no smoking, and then once we made the children like the primary focus of the bike parade, because that's really what it is. All the tech, everybody knows when people with kids, they ride up next to me because the children
guide the pace.
They're the pace.
Yeah,
they're the pace of the bicycle.
And isn't that again part of one of the reasons I started Who's Your Mama is because they are our future.
I'm telling you, I started this in 2015. Here we are, 2026. So you can only imagine that there's kids that are now 16 and 17 who come to the bike parade that 10 years ago when they came and they were only like 4 or 5, I've seen them grow up. So all of that is what fuels me. But that's really what makes me tick, because people ask me all the time, how do you make money? Well, we're a nonprofit and people donate. When we do these special collaborations with, these Fortune 500 companies, that helps pay some bills. But, overall, it's all about the community. I like to pull up and see old faces and new faces and people who are smiling ear to ear and thanking me with intention for creating this space for the community.
Yeah. And sometimes maybe not begrudgingly going because someone told them, hey, we're doing this. And then lights up
There's been a bunch of people who are the friends are like, hey, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of, like, okay, didn't really know what to expect. But then at the end, they're like, best thing happening in LA.
Yeah, it is. It's really magical. Well, the last thing I wanted to ask you was, and you can answer it, as specific or broad as you want. With all of your experience just in life, what are 2 or 3 things you would tell your younger self?
Based on what I've done in life, my younger self, I would definitely, start with There's first thing, you know, there's redos. You know, if you mess up, you can always redo. You know, um, younger self, continue to put God first. That's really first and foremost. I would definitely, always remind my younger self for that. And just third thing is just move with intention. Everything, in life is with intention. And I use that word a lot, when I'm talking to, my boys, or if I'm talking to friends and family. I just always remind everybody, move with intention and integrity,
Yeah.
Very important,
I couldn't agree more.
very important.
And I think it's good to reflect on that. And it's things I talk to my daughter about, because said no adult ever. I wish I would have learned some of these lessons later in life, but we're never too old to grow.
Never too old.
And then passing those things along to younger generation.
Yeah.
And they have things to teach us as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So you continue to watch you is such a gift to grow.
Thank you.
And what you're doing for the community and inspiring others, including myself. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And
thank you.
Maybe you'd be open to coming back on here again, because I know you have a lot to share.
Of course. Things. There's so much going on. I get emails every day. There's an email. Somebody wants to do a music video. If the music video, if the lyrics are within, if it flows with what I've created and what the intention of the bike parade is, I'm all for it. There's been a bunch of them that I had to decline, but.
Oh my gosh, I got it sounds like I was on prime time. So Thank you for making space.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we all do make time and space for people and things that we want in life, and there's no doubt. So thank you again for coming on Who's Your on your Marcus. Who's your
Who's your Marcus?
Who's your mama?
Who's your mama?
Oh my gosh, in Venice Electric Light Parade. And as we sign off, let's go, y'all.
The time is now.
Thank you for tuning in to Who's Your Mama, and I look forward to collaborating from a community standpoint for the next episodes.